Good morning, dear students. My name is Ferhan Mazher, and the subject we are studying today is Cambridge O Levels DMaths 4024. We are working on the syllabus of this subject, and we are using the book. Normally, we call it D3 book. The name of the book is New Syllabus Mathematics 7th edition, and we are working on is chapter number 9, which is application of the trigonometry, and we are working on the exercise 9b, which is about bearings. And this is the second video on this exercise. In my first video, which is I have already uploaded in my YouTube channel, and that in this at that exercise we did that video we did from question number 1 to question number 5. In this video we will be attempting from question number 6 to question number 10. We will try to do this, and let's hope that you will enjoy and you will also learn. So let's start this exercise. The exercise is 9b, is question number 6, and let's start. So here we go. The exercise is 9b from the book D3 New Syllabus Mathematics 7th edition. It's question number 5. Question 1 to 5 we have already done. Now we are going to attempt question number 6. So that question is showing up on your screen. It says A, B, C, and D are the four corners of a rectangular plot marked out on level ground. Given that the bearing of the B from the A is 40 degree, and that the bearing of the C from the A is 90 degree, find the bearing of B from C, A from C, and D from C. So basically they are talking about, here you go, basically they are talking about rectangle. And you know the rectangle, the internal angles, they are of 90 degree. So they are talking about a rectangle A, B, C, D. And he says that the bearing of the B from the A is 40. So here I started making a diagram from the point A. So on A, I will draw north. The bearing of the B from the A is 40. So I made a line here. So this is point B, and this bearing is 40. The bearing of the point C from the A is 90. So the C basically is in the east of the A. So here I have drawn this dotted line. From here, I have tried to make a 90-degree angle, and where they intersected, that's the point C. And parallel to this, I draw a line here, and parallel to this line, I draw a line here. So this is how I made this figure A, B, C, D. The lengths were not given. Okay, so because this angle is 90, the bearing of the C from the A is 90, the bearing of the B from the A is 40. So here I have drawn a north here, and let me call this angle as alpha, this angle as beta. This is 90. I have drawn a north here also on the point C because the questions are from the C. So let me call this angle as gamma. So first of all, I can find the alpha plus 40 because they are allied angles of the parallel lines. So the alpha plus 40 will be equals to 180. So you can find the value of the alpha. Once you know the value of the alpha, then 90 plus alpha plus beta will be 360. From there, you can find the value of the beta. Once you know the value of the beta, then beta plus gamma will be equals to 180 because they are allied angles to each other. So let me show you that. So the first question is B from the C. So basically they want B from the C. So this is your B. This is the C from the C, means on the C you have the north. And from there, that north, you will have to come clockwise to this CB line. So that will be the bearing of the B from the C. The B point is here. This is the B point. This is the C point. So on the north is on the C. So from here you go clockwise to the line CB. So we actually are interested to find this angle. For that, I will find this, I will find alpha, then I will find beta, then I will find gamma. and then the bearing will be 360 minus gamma. So the B from the C, alpha plus 40 is equals to 180, because alpha and the 40, they are allied angles to each other. If you have made that diagram, so the alpha will be equals to 180 minus 40, and that will be 140. Then from that diagram, I can tell you that alpha plus beta plus 90 will be equals to 360. So alpha plus 90 plus beta is equals to 360. So we know the alpha value, that is 140. So the beta will be 360 minus 90 minus 140, and that will be 130. Then I showed you this beta and the gamma. Their sum will be 180, because they are the allied angles of parallel lines. So the gamma plus the beta is equals to 180. So the gamma will be 180 minus 130, and that will be 50. So once you know the gamma, then the bearing of the B from the C is this angle. You can see this blue line. So this will be 360 minus gamma. So the bearing of the B from the C will be 360 minus 50. So it will be 310 degrees. So that is the A part of that question. In the B part of that question, they say A from the C. A from the C. Okay. A from the C means on the C you have the north. From that north, go clockwise to the CA line. So from this is that line, you go clockwise to the CA line. So this is that angle. From that north on the C, go clockwise to the CA line. You know this angle? You know this angle? This angle is how much? 90. That was given in the question. The bearing of the C from the A was 90. So this whole angle, this whole angle will be also 90. So this will be 360 minus 90, and that will be 270. So the bearing of the A from the C will be 360 minus 90, and that will be 270 degrees. 270 degrees. Then the C part, he says find the bearing of the D from the C. D from the C means this angle. The D from the C, on the C you draw north, and from that north you go clockwise to the CD line. Okay, so this angle. So you can see this angle is gamma and plus 90. If you from 360 you subtract gamma and the 90, the rest will be this angle. So the bearing of the D from the C will be 360 minus gamma minus 90. So here you see the D from the C will be 360 minus 90 minus gamma, and that will be 360 minus 90 minus 50, and that will be 220. 220 is the bearing of the D from the C. So this is how you do question number 6. I hope you can understand this question. So let me reduce the size so you can see the whole question together. But it's quite difficult. The diagram is here. You can see the diagram, and then this is the procedure. So hopefully you understand, and let me show you the diagram. So this is basically the diagram, and you can pause the video and you can see clearly all the. Okay, so let's go to the next question, and the next question coming up on your screen is question number 7. So here we go. So the question number 7 is coming up on your screen. He says P, Q, and R are the 3 points on level ground. Given that the bearing of the R from the P is 135 degree, and given that the angle PQR is 55 degree and the angle PRQ is 48 degree, find the bearing of P from R, Q from R, and P from Q. So these are the 3 questions they're asking. But the first task is to make a diagram of the story here. So the P, Q, and R are 3 points on the level ground, given that the bearing of the R from the P is 135. And then the 2 internal angles are given. So here you can see according to the story which they gave us, the bearing of the R from the P is 135. So 135 will be here, start the diagram from the P. So on the P, I draw north. So from that, I check how much will be the 135. So draw a line PR, and this is 135 angle. Okay, approximately 135. I have drawn this diagram freehand. And then they told us that this angle is how much? 48. 48. And then on R, I draw a north. I check how much will be this angle. This is alpha. It's a very important technique which I am telling you. 180 minus 135, so that angle will be 45, which is less than this 48. So it means that this side of the triangle should be on the right side of this north. Okay, so this is how I know that this side, the RQ side, should be a little to the right of that north on the R, because this angle alpha is 45 and the internal angle here is 48. So the RQ side should be on the right side of the north on the R. Okay, then they have told us that this angle here is 55. So the Q will be the RQP angle, that's 55. So this is how you will make this diagram. And the important thing is that the data which they have given you, that there can be two diagrams. Okay, so this is the first diagram. I call it case one. So their first question on the case one is what is the bearing of the P from the R? So the P from the R. So I will draw a north here. So this angle alpha, first of all, we find that will be alpha plus 135 equals to 180. They are allied angles to each other. So the alpha will be equals to 180 minus 135, and that will be 45. So the bearing of the P from the R means draw north on the R, and from that north go clockwise to the RP line. So that angle here, this clockwise angle outside here, will be 360 minus alpha. So it will be 360 minus 45, and that will be 315. So this bearing will be 315. So the bearing of the P from the R will be 315. Then they ask us to find the bearing of the Q from the R. Q from the R. So basically, I want to find out this angle beta. That is the bearing of the Q from the R. Q from the R means that from the R means that on the R you draw a north, and from that north you go clockwise to the RQ line. So this is that small angle. Okay, I'm calling it beta. So that beta is basically 48, which is the internal angle, minus this alpha. So it will be 48 minus alpha. So 48 minus 45. So that angle will be 3. So the bearing of the Q from the R is 3 degrees. Then their question is find the bearing of the P from the Q. P from the Q. P from the Q. So basically they want me to find out this angle. Okay, so they want me to so on the Q you draw a north, from that north go clockwise to the QP line. So that will be the bearing of the P from the Q. So if you want to find out, let me call it this angle gamma. So you know this whole angle is 135. So this angle, this internal angle QPR will be 180 minus 55 minus 48, and that will be 77. So from 135 subtract 77, you get 58. So this angle is 58. This is north, and this gamma and this 58, they are allied angles to each other. So we can find the bearing of the P from the Q. That will be 360 minus gamma. So first of all, I need to find out the gamma. So the 58 plus the gamma will be equals to 180. So the gamma will be equals to 180 minus 58, and that will be 122. And then the bearing of the P from the Q will be 360 minus gamma. So it will be 360 minus 122, and that will be 238. 238. So this is case one in which the diagram, the Q point is in the north side of the PR. But the data which they gave you, the Q side can be also on the south south side of the, you see, the PR line. They said this is the case number 2, which can be made by the same data which they gave you. The R from the P is on the 135 bearing. Okay. Then from the R, the PRQ angle is 48. So the angle at the RQP is 55. So that this third internal angle 180 minus 48 minus 55, that's 77. If you add 135 and 77, that is more than 180. So that's why I know this line should be not here, and the Q point should not be under here. It should be little to the west side. Okay, so because this angle is more than 180, so that's why I made it like this. So this is the second diagram which can be made, in which the Q is on the southern side of the PR. So from this case, we can also have to answer the same questions. The first question is P from R. Okay. So if you want to find out the P from the R, this is 135 and this angle alpha. Find this angle alpha. So P from R means on the arc, you draw the north. And from that north, you go clockwise to the RP line. So 135 plus alpha will be equals to 180. So from here, you get the value of the alpha. So if you know the alpha, and this is that angle which represents the bearing of the P from the R, that will be 360 minus alpha. And so, okay. So alpha plus 130, alpha plus 135 will be equals to 180. So alpha will be equals to 180 minus 135. Alpha will be equals to 45. So the bearing of the P from the R will be 360 minus 45, and that will be 315 degrees. So this is how you do solve this. Okay. So the question number, the B part of that question is Q from the R. Q from the R. So the Q is here and R is here. So the Q from the R means on the R, you will draw the north, and from that north, you will go clockwise to the RQ line. So that angle will be this angle. So this angle can be found by 360 minus alpha minus 48. Very simple. So 360 minus 48 minus alpha, we know the value of the alpha. 360 minus 48 minus 45, and that will be 267. So the bearing of the Q from the R will be 267. Okay, so the next part is they want you to find out the value of the bearing of the P from the Q. The bearing of the P from the Q. Okay, so I know this angle, I know this internal angle, so I can find the beta. Once I know the beta, I can find this gamma. So you know this whole angle, that will be 360. So from 360, 135 and 77. So you will get the angle beta. Once you know the angle beta, you know this is the line joining them. So beta and the gamma, they are allied angles to each other. So the gamma plus the beta will be equals to 180. So let me show you the procedure. So beta plus 77 plus 135, that will be equals to 360. So the beta will be equals to 360 minus 135 minus 77. So the answer will be 148. So gamma plus beta is equals to 180. The gamma and the beta, they are allied angles to each other, as I have shown you in the diagram. So the gamma plus the beta value is 148 equals to 180. So the gamma will be 180 minus 148, and that will be 32. So the bearing of the P from the Q will be 32. So this angle is the bearing of the P from the Q. The P from the Q means on the Q you draw the north, and from that north you go clockwise to the QP line. So that angle is the bearing of the P from the Q. So my dear students, this is the second case which can be made. The diagram can be made from the data which was given in the question number 7. I hope you understand this video and this question. So in the question number 7, we can make two Two cases from this given data. Okay, so question number 8. A, B, and C are 3 points on the level ground given that the bearing of the B from A is 122 degree and the CAB angle is 32 and the ABC angle is 86. Find the possible bearings of the C from the B. Okay, so the bearing of the B from the, okay. So in this question again, we can make two cases, and so here is the diagram. Okay, so here is the point A on a bearing of 122. On the bearing of 122, we have a point B. So I just draw a line at an angle of 122 from this north, and we move clockwise. On A, we have drawn the north. From there, we have gone 122 degree clockwise, and we have drawn a line, some approximate of some suitable length, and then we have written there point B. So this is the point B on a bearing of 122 from the A. Then on the B, I have drawn a north. Okay, so this gamma and this 122, they are basically allied to each other. So if you find the value of this gamma, so that will be gamma plus 122 equals to 180. Gamma will be 58. So this angle will be 58. And but the internal angle given in that question, that angle ABC, I can show you, angle ABC is 86. The angle ABC is 86. So this angle is more than this angle. So that tells me that the BC side should be on the right side of the north on the B. It's a very important thing. How do I know that this should be here? I might have made it here, but I made it here. Why? Because this internal angle is more than this allied angle. So it means that this BC side is on the right side of this north. Okay, so let me call this angle as beta. And so here we have the C. This angle is given that the BAC angle is 32. So this angle, let me call it alpha. And let's start. The first question they are asking you, this is the book, this is the diagram, this is the case 1. From the same given data, I can make another diagram in which the C will be, C right now is on the north side of the AB line, but the C can also be on the south side of the AB line. From the given data, both cases can be made. So we will make both the cases. And okay, so the first question they are asking you is C from the B. So the C from the B means that on the B we have the north, and from that north you go clockwise to the BC line. So this angle beta, I just named it. So the angle beta is 58 plus beta is equals to 86, and so the beta will be equals to 86 minus 58. So the beta will be 28. So the bearing of the C from the B will be 28. That's the only question they ask you. Okay, so now I will go to the next diagram. You know, the bearing 122 from the A, you have the point B, and the ABC angle is 86. The BAC angle is 32. So when I add 122 and 32, that's only 154. So I know that this south line, this represents 180 degree bearing. So it should be on the right side of that. So this is 32, this is 86. We can find this third angle. So their first question is find the bearing of the C from the B. So basically on the B, you draw north. From that north, you go to clockwise to the BC line. So this angle, I'm naming it as beta. This angle is alpha. So because this 122 and this alpha, they are allied angles of the parallel lines here. So alpha plus 122 equals to 180. So the alpha will be equals to 180 minus 122. So the alpha will be equals to 58. So once you know the alpha, this outer angle beta can be found. Alpha plus 86 plus beta will be equals to 360. So from 360, subtract 86 and subtract 58. So that will give you the angle beta. And you know the beta is the basically the bearing of the C from the B. Bearing of the C from the B means that on the B, draw the north. From that north, go clockwise to the BC line. So that angle will be 216. So that is case number 2. So let me reduce the size a little bit. So you can see the whole case 2 together. So from the same given data, I can make this diagram. That's case number 2. And from the given diagram, I can make this. From the given data, I can make this diagram. That was the case number 1. And my dear students, I hope you understand the question number 8, both the cases of the question number 8. Okay, so we are going to the next question. The next question is question number 9. He says, a bus stop is 280 meters due north of a taxi stand. Nora walks from the taxi stand in the direction 50 degree. Calculate how far she has to walk before she is. So now they are giving you 3 conditions. Equidistant from the bus stop and the taxi stand, as close as possible to the bus stop. And the C part is due east of the bus stop. So let me show you how I've done this. Okay. So basically, we are talking about this exercise 9BD3, question number 9. It's A part. So here we have a taxi stand, and in the north of the taxi stand, we have a bus stop. So this is the north. Okay, so the Nora is walking on this line. So this line is north, and she walks on a bearing of 50, and she is going on this path. And in the first question, he says, she is equidistant from the bus stop and the taxi stand. So this is 280 meters. So Nora is here somewhere, and her distance from the B and her distance from the T is equal. So this will be an isotriangle. So let me call this is angle beta, this is angle alpha. So this is 50, so this angle will be also 50. So once I know this angle, I can find this angle also, because it's an isotriangle. So alpha will be 50 because it's an isotriangle. Beta will be 180 minus 50 minus 50. So the beta angle will be 80 degree. Then they want you to find they want us to find out Tn, how much the Nora has walked. So I will apply the law of the sine Tn. I want to find out the Tn is related with this alpha value, and this 280 is related with the beta angle. So the Tn divided by sine 50 equals to 280 divided by sine 80. So the Tn will be equals to 280 multiplied sine 50, and the whole thing divided by the sine 80. So that will be 217.8, which is approximately, when you round it off to the nearest meter, it will be 218 meters. So this is the first condition of that question. In the A part, she says that Nora is equidistant from the taxi stand and the bus station. Okay. In the next, and they say that let me read from there. As close as possible to the bus stop. Okay. So when the Nora is walking on this road at a bearing of 50 from the taxi stand, and when she's closest to the point B, the bus stop, and you know, when you're walking on a line, you are closest to a third point. When the line coming from that point makes 90 degree angle with this path. Okay, so this is the closest she can get to the bus stop while walking on this road. So I want to find out this Tn, how much she has walked. And you can see this is a simple right angle triangle now. And I want to find out Tn, which according, if I use this angle, this will be the base, this is the hypotenuse. So the cos of 50 will be equal to Tn divided by 280. So the Tn will be equals to 280 multiplied cos 50, and that will give you, so the Tn will be 179.98 meter. So which is approximately, when you round it off, is 180 meter. So that was the question number 9. It's B part, in which we want to find out how much Nora has walked from the taxi stand And the condition was given that the Nora is closest to the bus stop while walking on that road. So that was the question number 9. B part. In the C part, it says due east of the bus stop. Okay. So here I have drawn that line. So she is walking on this road, which is at the bearing of 50 from the T. And she walks, and comes to the east of the B. If she comes east of the B, so because the B is in the north of the T, so this angle will be 90. If this is in the east, then this angle will be 90 because the bearing of the east is 90. So if this angle will be 90, this angle will be also 90. So it's a right angle triangle. So I want to find out how much she has walked, the Tn value I want to find out. It's a right angle. I know this angle. I know this is the base. This is the hypotenuse. So I will use cos 50. That will be base by hypotenuse. And so cos 50 will be equals to 280 divided by Tn. So the Tn will be equals to 280 divided by cos 50. Just enter this value in the calculator. You will get the 435.6 meters, which is approximately 436 meters. So my dear students, this is how you will do the question number 9, and I can reduce the size so you can see the whole question. So there were 3 parts of this question: A part, the B part, and here we have the C part. And I hope you have this is the A part, and then this is the B part, and then this is the C part. You can pause the video and you can take your time and absorb this question. Okay, so a helicopter flies 30 kilometers from a point P to another point Q on a bearing of 128 degrees. It then flies another 25 kilometers to another point R on a bearing of 295 degrees. Find the distance between the P and the R. So it's a story sum, and the most important thing is how you will make its diagram. So here we go. So here we have. So this is the point P, and from the P we go on a bearing of 128 degrees. So the 128 degree will be approximately here somewhere. So you reach the point Q, which is 30 kilometers, and away from the P on the bearing of 128. Okay, so this is point Q. The next thing I do, I draw a north on the Q, and I find this angle alpha. This angle alpha will be, because 128 and the alpha, they will be allied angle to each other. So it will be 180 minus 128, so 52. So this angle will be 52. So then they told us that the bearing of the R, because I am just making the diagram, the bearing of the R and from the R from the Q is 295. It's 295. Okay. So the 295, it will be see, if I draw north here, it will be 90 here, 180 here, and 270 here, and 360 on this side. So so 295, this is 52. So I will subtract, from 360. If you subtract 52, how much you will get? Let me check. Because this is very important to understand that how do I know that this is from 360. If I subtract 52, I get 308. I get 308. But this bearing is 295, which is less than 308. So this line QR is supposed to be lower than the PQ line. This is the calculation by which I know that this QR line should be below the PQ line. It should not go above the PQ line. You see what I did? The alpha value is 52. So from 360, if I subtract 52, I get 308. So from here up to here is the angle 308. So it means this angle 295, so it should be lower than the PQ. Okay. So then I know the PQ line, the QR line should be below the PQ line. So, and that is 25 kilometers. So I just stopped it here and I joined it here. This is not the straight line from the north. This is not the straight line. Okay. This is little tilted. Okay. Little tilted. So the most important thing in this question was to draw the diagram correctly. Okay. So once you have drawn it correctly, then it's easy peasy. So from 360, first of all, you can see here we have found the alpha. The alpha is 180 minus 128. So that's 52. So I know this angle is 52. I know this whole angle up to this line clockwise is 295. So I can find this internal angle, you know, the internal angle is PQR. So the PQR plus the alpha plus the 295 equals to 365. So the PQR angle will be 360 minus 295 minus 52. So the PQR angle will be 13. This angle, this shaded angle, which I just shaded, that is 13 degrees. So what is their question? Their question is find the distance between the P and the R. So if you want to find out the distance P and R, you know, I know this side, it's a triangle. This is a triangle. PQR is a triangle. I know the PQ side, that's 30 kilometer. I know the RQ side, that is 25 kilometer. And I also know the PQR angle, which is the internal angle, between the included angle between those two sides. And that is 13 degree. So I can, their question is find the PR, find the PR. So I can find the PR, the two sides are given, their included angle is also given. And the side opposite to that angle is question. They want me to find out. So I can apply the law of cosine. So I will apply the law of cosine. So the law of cosine is kind of showing up. You can see the diagram and the law of cosine together. So if you want to find the PR, it will be 30 square plus 25 square minus 2 into 25 into 30 into the cos of this angle. Okay. So it will be 25 square plus 30 square minus 2 into 25 and into 30 into cos of 13. So just enter these values in the calculator. This is in the single click. 25 square plus 30 square minus 2 multiply 25 minus multiply 30 multiply cos 13 equals to, and that will give you 63.4449. Take square root, answer equals to, and that will give you 7.965 kilometer, which will be approximately 7.97 kilometer. So this was their question. The question number, this was the question number 10. Let me reduce the size so you can see the, if you can see the whole question together. You can pause the video and you can take your time. So this is that question number 10. So next is the question number 11. So my dear students, today in this video, this is my video on the exercise 9B of the D3 book, New Syllabus Mathematics 7th edition, book 3. And this is the second video on this exercise. In this video, we have completed from question number 6 to question number 10. And I hope that this video will help you to understand the concept of bearing and the application of trigonometry. If you find this video helpful and useful and it has helped you to practice these questions, please share the link of this video onto your Facebook account, onto your Instagram account, and onto your Twitter accounts, because that's a great appreciation for me, for my work, and for my channel. And also, if you find this video useful, also subscribe my channel, like this video. It's a great blessing for me to be able to teach so many people around the globe through this YouTube channel. It's a blessing for me. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a good day. God bless you all.